It's the Suncast Podcast, covering the Sun Conference and all its sports.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome into another episode of Suncast. I'm going to take this beanie off. Hey, hopefully you just saw me take it off because we are on YouTube now. Go to our YouTube. We will put the link to the YouTube in the bio of the audio episode on iPodcast, Spotify. So you click that, go to the YouTube, like and subscribe. Takes 2 seconds. Leave a comment. Tell us how much you love Sun Conference sports. Manny, great episode for the people today. We have not one, but two interviews because we have a big matchup. So with softball this weekend, obviously it's getting towards the end of the regular season. We're going to have on three guests, two separate interviews. First off, from Coastal Georgia, we're going to have Sarah Thinger and Bryce Peacock, two seniors there, first team All-American, all-conference player in Sarah Thinger, the All-American player being Bryce Peacock. She was the NFCA and the NAI DP, first team All-American last year. And we also have on a longtime vet in the circle, senior from Lakeland, Florida, and Autumn Hunter. Well, she's not from Lakeland. She's from Wisconsin, right? Wisconsin. She's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I
right.
think Wisconsin.
But from Southeastern Fire, because they have a huge matchup this weekend, Southeastern and Coastal Georgia. You know, as far as the most entertaining endings of how the regular seasons are going in all of NAI softball, I would say the Cascade Conference is number one because they got 4 ranked teams with all the same record. That's incredible. But we got something very similar. So this weekend up in Brunswick, Georgia, Southeastern will play Coastal Georgia. St. Thomas travels to Weber. Assuming St. Thomas takes care of business, I mean, that's a number one versus the bottom team of the conference right now in Weber. So assume St. Thomas takes care of business in Babson Park this weekend. Break my heart, but whatever. Eliminate Weber from the postseason completely. But right now, we've got champion St. Thomas. Sun Conference right now. We'll explain a little bit more about that here in just a second. But first off, Coastal Georgia, Southeastern, big matchup up in Brunswick. If pretty much whoever wins that series will be sitting in a good chance, and we'll see kind of what happens next weekend. Obviously, if Coastal Georgia takes 2 or 3 or sweeps Southeastern, that changes things. That becomes pretty much a regular season championship series. Best case scenario probably for St. Thomas is having Southeastern take 2 of 3 from Coastal Georgia. That pretty much wraps things up. Right, Manny? That wouldn't end it, but
yeah, it would pretty much wrap it up just because Bobcats already beat Southeastern and it would turn into a whole situation. So that would pretty much give the Bobcats the best chance.
Pretty much Coastal Georgia would have to come down to Miami and sweep St. Thomas, which
for things to get dicey.
Yeah, which is something they could do, but you know, we've seen Weber be able to take one when they travel. Saw Warner take one from Coastal Georgia when they travel to Florida. However, while that is awesome and while the regular season is very fun, Manny, we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about St. Thomas getting ranked in the top 20 for the first time in program history, correct?
Yes, sir.
Just got the phone with Coach JC before we started recording, and I called, talked with him. He actually said, "No freaking way," something like that. When I told him, he was like, as soon as I saw it at 11 o'clock, I saw St. Thomas number 19, and he was like, "St. Thomas." I was like, unless they meant like St. Thomas Aquinas or something like that. Yeah,
I thought so with the players, and they lost their minds. They lost their minds. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Awesome stuff. Congratulations to them. Southeastern's right outside the top 25, so. By the end of the regular season, they could certainly find their way inside of the top 25. However, for them to do that, that probably means they'd have to sweep or at least take 2 or 3 from Coastal Georgia, who did drop a little bit. They stay in the top 25 at number 22. But that's enough of the softball talk. Manny, very important stuff for right now. Women's lacrosse. And again, we'll pick back up on the softball stuff with Autumn and then actually, yeah, with Bryce and Sarah, and then with Autumn. So again, this is a 2 and a little throwback. Y'all remember some of the OG episodes? Were they always great? No, not necessarily. However, something that I thought we did really well, or I did really well at the beginning, was having multiple people on. That's going to kind of start coming back here towards the end. Actually, going to do something very fun. I can confirm and tease this. So on Monday's episode. It's going to be where we are going to have a little Monday episode. It's going to be more of an interview only. Got two former Weber Warriors in the women's lacrosse world, and maybe another women's lacrosse. There could be two interviews. I don't want to guarantee that, but Bryce Peacock and Bryce Gerber. We're going to have them on. I wanted to have them on earlier. There was just some injuries, some other things. They got eliminated from the postseason, so we kind of waited to do this after the season. Gonna have those two great Weber women's lacrosse players on. Just want to talk about one of the interesting things for me at Weber is seeing the growth of women's lacrosse. I talked a little bit about that with Coach Sherman just overall, but also how just putting it how it is, how bad that team was at the beginning versus how good, competitive, right out there, one of the top 12 teams in NAI women's lacrosse. Just missed out on a conference tournament in the most competitive conference in NAI women's lacrosse, period. But want to have them on talk about that. It'll be a really fun, a different kind of interview, not like with the player or coach preparing for something or in the middle of the season, kind of more of a reflective interview. But anyways, enough of that. Manny, so we have our tournament set up. It starts Friday. Let's go through it. Go through some of the matchups. Let's give some predictions.
It's really comes down to a situation where obviously first things first, SCAD, congratulations on winning the regular season title. They are the number 1 seed. They beat Life 18-4. And the funny thing is that the reward is Life again in the semifinals as Life dropped all the way to the 4th seed. So we're having a regular season rematch in the semifinals for that in that semifinal matchup on Friday. I don't know if the script writers could do any better. That's so much fun. I'm so excited to see what Life has with the response and with SCAD just showing that it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a situation where we got one and that's it. We're going to try and do it again. The other semifinal matchup is going to be Ave and Kaiser. Again, we had Coach Sherman on earlier, and they were the 3rd seed at the time. Because of SCAD beating Life and a few other things happening, they were able to move up to number 2. So that's a good sign for them. I do like them in that matchup versus the Seahawks. Again, championship will obviously be on Saturday once the semifinals conclude Friday evening. The tournament is going to be at the West Palm Beach at Kaiser Multipurpose Field. So if anybody's in the area, everybody wants to make an effort for that, that's where it will be. But I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup. I think you just got to give it to SCAD. You got to give it to SCAD. I think they've been the best team all year. Ave in that championship series or championship game, I should say. I do think they're going to give them a run for their money. I do think Ave can really, if they come out from the beginning and put on that pressure and lean on some of the culture building aspects that Coach Sherman talked about in the interview that we had with her last episode, I think they have a really good chance at it. But I just think SCAD has been the best team all season. They're going to be running on a very high momentum. You beat Life not once, possibly twice, and now you have this setup matchup against the number 2 team in the conference. But I think they still have the advantage overall, and they bring home that Sun Conference championship.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to Kaiser and SCAD. I think the Kaiser Ave game is going to be a lot of fun. But just looking at Kaiser, of course, led by Chloe Foley, just finished up a 30-goal season. Madison Andrews, 22 assists and 17 goals, matching that with Abby Cannon, who had the exact same stat line, leading the way in the attack for the Seahawks. It's going to be really tough to stop them, slow them down. And you just mentioned SCAD, dude. I mean, they're a wagon this year. I think it'll come down to those two. I'm going to stick with you. Obviously, an advantage for Kaiser. They're at their home field, and we've seen not only that team, but overall at Kaiser, they do really well postseason play in West Palm Beach. We'll see if that will stay true. It's just this SCAD team is on a little bit different level. It feels like this year could definitely win a red banner. I think their postseason run starts with winning the Sun Conference.
No, absolutely. And again, we talked about our last episode. We could have some multiple situations in spring sports when it comes to red banner. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But I do think SCAD has one of the highest chance for any team, not just in lacrosse, but in overall in spring for the Sun Conference to bring another banner here.
Baseball. I feel like baseball, we kind of know it's just happening at this point. Southeastern and Weber, see you.
The one thing I will say, and I think I'm more from again being a Bobcat fan, things are a little dicey for us just because you play Southeastern this weekend.
Things aren't dicey. Things are for St. Thomas, or you either win the conference tournament or your season's done. Period.
Honestly, there is a world where we miss the tournament depending on how some things end out, which is unbelievable to think about. Because again,
look, I'm not just calling out St. Thomas there. That is Warner. That is Ave Maria. That's maybe Kaiser.
Florida Memorial has a chance of
It's
getting and
definitely
make that
Florida.
stance.
It's definitely Florida Memorial. Every team that's not Southeastern or Weber, if Southeastern or Weber wins the conference tournament, which I'd put money on those two versus the field, I
Absolutely.
would say that. If that doesn't happen, we're sending two teams to the opening round this year. Maybe Kaiser. Maybe Kaiser gets in. I know they're still receiving votes. We'll see. Just kind of see how the season ends for them, how they do in the conference tournament. But I don't know. It's a weird feeling because I mean we sent 5 teams 2 years ago, sent 4 teams last year, or 3 teams last year, 3 or 4 teams last year, 4 teams,
What was
right?
it? Good? Southeastern,
Southeastern, Weber,
Weber,
Ave,
Ave.
St. Thomas. St. Thomas didn't make it.
No, I think Thomas didn't make it. Didn't
Did
make it. So
Kaiser make it? I'm not
Kaiser did
sure.
not. No,
But
no,
either
no.
way, 3 or 4 teams. All
Yeah.
right, so 3 teams last year. So you're going from 5 teams to 3 teams to 2 teams. Differences this year. I really feel like there's 2 teams that can go win the Red Banner. Felt that last year to an extent, but this Weber team's different, man. This Weber
Oh,
team's different. I think we're going straight up. I think Weber's going to be playing for the Red Banner. I mean, like I know other media outlets have
catch
started.
Reagan out there right now, guys.
Like
Get the
other
news
media
out there.
outlets, are bashing Weber. Not sure if they can do it. Yeah, they win like whatever. Yeah, they win a lot of games. That's all you need to worry about. Warriors are chilling. But we'll see. I mean, they got last year as a 1 seed, so no telling.
Speaking of the Warriors, we go from baseball to beach volleyball as they get ready
Yep.
for a national championship run. You know, again, they won the Sun Conference tournament, a three-peat. The Warriors doing what the Warriors do when it comes to beach volleyball. Ave
Yep.
Marie also did get an at-large bid, first time in program history. So congratulations to them. Funny enough, they end up in the same pool. So there will be a rematch between those two teams. Again, the tournament start the 25th and it will go through the 27th. For Weber, they play number 1 Corbin, and then they play number 4 Arizona Christian. That'll be on the 25th. Ave will play number 25. They will play number 4 Arizona Christian on the 25th, and then number 1 Corbin. And then that last day on the 26th, the Sun Conference Championship rematch. That game will be at 11:30 a.m. All times are Eastern time. So just in case you guys are wondering at that. But again, I'm curious to see. I mean, again, I got Weber. I like them. I like them in this pool. I know I got Corbin in there, but I think they can make a nice little push there. But we'll see what Ave and them have to do with the rematch in that one, at least for that second time around.
Yeah, Corbin's tough, dude. I mean, I don't know a ton about them, but just talking with, I mean, honestly, softball Cascade coaches, and then I mean, hearing what Corbin is in beach volleyball, going to be tough for Weber, to be honest. But hey, so they've shown they've been able to kick it up here in the postseason as well. So we'll see. Congratulations also to Weber winning the AVCA championship. Yeah, that one. So already 2 trophies again for Weber this year. Looking to make it the elusive third, the Red Banner. I was talking with Nadia Reed in class. I was like, yeah, that'd be crazy if our first Red Banner was beach volleyball, but
Hey,
I'll
we'll
take it.
take it.
I'll
We'll
take
take
it.
it.
We need one.
Yeah.
Y'all's first one was swimming and diving a few months
Swimming,
ago.
diving, and dance just got one the other weekend. I mean, we'll take it. We'll take it, man.
Bang. We'll
We'll take
take
it.
Red Banners are Red Banners,
Yeah,
baby.
absolutely.
They all Red Banners collect the same amount of dust eventually.
Exactly. No, and then
All right.
the last thing I did want to mention was flag football. They're
Yep.
finishing up their regular season this season. Really, the only thing that I kind of key matchup, we pretty much have playoffs somewhat solidified. Warner Kaiser undefeated. They'll obviously be 1-2 seed. That's the matchup that I'm picking as the matchup of the week.
Yep.
Thursday, tomorrow, they will be playing each other. Winner gets the number 1 seed. They get the regular season championship. I'm seeing a lot of trends that this year. I think overall, I feel like every sport has come down to almost the last day, or you have a matchup
Yep.
where the winner gets it. So it's a good entertainment for sure. And then you've got Thomas, St. Thomas, Weber, and Life. I think on the outside looking in right now is Life, to my knowledge. But things are still kind of able to be shifted. Thomas only at 5-2, St. Thomas and Weber tied at 4-3 apiece. Life at 2-5. So there's still some movement to be left with a few teams having one conference game left. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But we're pretty much into the home stretch of playoffs all across the spring season right now.
All right, let's get over to our interviews. Got some great interviews. 3 just phenomenal softball players, all a part of a big era of Sun Conference softball. Long overdue to have on. They have been killing it in this conference since before the first episode of Suncast was even recorded. So without further ado, we're going to kick it over to Bryce Peacock and Sarah Thinger. And remember, after that, we have on Autumn Hunter from Southeastern. But here we go. For the Mariners out of Brunswick, Georgia, Bryce Peacock, Sarah Thinger. Okay, we welcome on two very special guests. It's Sarah Thinger, second baseman for Coastal Georgia, and then one of the best DPs in NAI softball, Bryce Peacock, coming off an All-American year, Player of the Year. Bryce, Sarah, y'all have had phenomenal careers in Brunswick. Great having y'all on. Long overdue. We just said it before. Y'all been having great careers there in Brunswick longer than we've been recording episodes of Suncast. So again, just thank you so much. How y'all doing today?
Good. We're both doing really well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Sun Conference has come down to once again going to be a very, very fun finish. Looking at what y'all got coming up, Southeastern at home this weekend, and traveling to St. Thomas. With this being y'all's senior year, I'm sure that there's no other way y'all want to kind of go about this, have it be this fun, this thrilling down the stretch. You just talk about how the regular season's been and how excited y'all are for the next couple of weeks.
Yes, so this year has actually been the most challenging. When they say like this conference is just you never know who's gonna win, who's gonna like take the series. It's just been like the most of like everybody's so equal. You never know what the turnout's gonna be. And this year has shown it like more than any year that we've been here for sure. So the next two series are going to be really challenging for us. It's going to be all grind. You never know like the big moments, what's going to happen in what game. So we're excited to see what's going to happen with the top three teams right now. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, Sarah, what do you think? I mean, it's going to be electric. You've made some plays with the glove and with the bat that have changed some games. I heard something about a play you made at Warner and tried to pull up on the live stream and could not find it. Can you tell us about? You know what we're talking about? I know Bryce knows what we're talking about.
My dad
Went back and got the screen recording of it.
Need to find that. Just that was awesome. But like games like that, you saw the Warner games, the Weber games, been fun. Just talk about how competitive the conference has been this year.
Right. I mean, these next two series are definitely going to be the most important for us. But I mean, every series is important. I mean, as long as, we have each other's backs and we pull our hits together, it's going to be good.
No, yeah, I mean, Bryce, obviously you're coming off of a year where you won Player of the Year. Congratulations to that. And honestly, you have such a good resume to win it again. I'm curious, do you have that chip on your shoulder now compared to last year where it's a situation of I did it, but I want to prove that I can do it again? Or is that chip off and it's more of a situation of now I'm focused on bigger pictures and bigger goals for the team?
Yeah, so coming in, I was like, feel like I had something to prove. Like I was like, okay, I was an All-American, I was Player of the Year. Like you have to live up to those standards that you got. And it was just like really putting a toll on me. And I'm like, just the game is supposed to be fun. And so really and truly, I just have had the best time with my teammates and just like going out there to play the game and not worry about what happens, just like knowing that my team's there for me. And so if it happens, it happens. If not, hey, I had a good time with my team. So
No,
Got
that's awesome.
to see y'all. I got to see y'all last few weeks. We came to Weber, came to Warner. Not as much against Warner. Obviously, Weber had home games I had to be at, but last week against Warner, I did get to see a little bit of pre-games. I've got to know, is the acapella group still going for the Coastal Georgia Mariners softball
Of course
team?
it is. Of course it is.
oh yeah.
Y'all, if y'all could have heard them, it was. I just remember looking at Terry, the pitching coach, and I said, "Coach, I don't know if you're going to have to lose too many of them to American Idol coming up." But
That's right.
it was good as a group. It sounded pretty good.
Yeah, I think we should go as a group, not individual, for sure.
Name of the group right now.
Oh gosh. Definitely Coastal Georgia Singers.
Coastal Georgia Singers.
There we
I
go.
like it.
There we go. There we go.
That was good off top of the head. Everything that was good. Nah, man, you should. What was the song y'all were singing again? Before the Warner game.
Oh gosh.
I don't even remember.
I can't remember, but it was
Oh, Caught in a Bad Romance. There we go.
yeah, that one. We can't play that in the YouTube. We may get taken
Little
down.
Lady Gaga.
Yeah, can't do that. No, that's awesome.
No, it was good stuff.
Sarah, we just talked about the conference and how it's been just absolutely upside down. You don't know what's going to happen on a week-to-week basis. But talk a little bit about what you think that message is being sent on the national level now, where people are really looking at the Sun Conference and saying, like, no, there's something brewing down in South Florida and down in the South, and they need to figure this out.
I mean, it definitely has helped us that at least one Sun Conference team has been ranked for the last couple of years. I mean, it'll help that St. Thomas and Southeastern are also receiving votes right now, and we're still ranked. So I think if they keep watching and seeing how close all of these games are, they're gonna see just how competitive this conference is.
I best believe I've been pushing the Sun Conference at the national level best I can. But have y'all seen the new rankings that came out about 56 minutes ago as we are recording?
No, we
Have not.
St. Thomas Bobcats have moved up to number 19 in the NAI. Coastal, y'all stayed in, I think 22, right,
Yes.
Manny?
Yes.
Yep. And Southeastern is third in receiving votes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're up there knocking on the door. Probably big top 25 implications as far as what the last ratings will be coming up this weekend. But I want to go back, talk a little bit about last year. So opening round, I was obviously very excited when y'all's name got put into the Lawrenceville opening round. Meant I would get to see y'all there. The first game got upset. Indiana Tech went out. That was a crazy game. They got y'all, but y'all bounced back, got some wins, got it into the final day against Georgia Gwinnett. And see Bryce kind of, I can see the feeling starting to brew a little bit there. Did see Bryce, you take a ball deeper than about any that I've seen in that last game. Obviously a tough one. Controversial play at the plate at the end of the game, everything. Just can y'all talk a little bit about how the end of the year last year has got y'all focused on, yes, the regular season, want to do well, but y'all have kind of built up a very good resume, good chance, I would say. Coastal Georgia's opening round team, especially finished strong, get some wins over St. Thomas, over Southeastern, conference tournament, et cetera, et cetera. But as far as getting back to the opening round, which I know we haven't crossed that bridge yet, and I can just hear Mike Minnick saying we ain't worried about that right now. We're focused on right now. But just the experience of last year in the at Georgia Gwinnett in that opening rounds, it got a little bit of fire in your belly to get back to an opening round and end up in Columbus this year.
Oh, for sure. So we actually played Gwinnett yesterday,
Yep.
and we have 8 freshmen on our team. So we are we're very much divided. We have 8 upperclassmen and 8 freshmen. So it is kind of like we're trying to tell them and lead them in a way that like every game is going to matter, especially now, especially like getting towards the end. And just playing Gwinnett yesterday just gave us so much more confidence in ourselves. We had I don't know how many freshmen were in the lineup, but off of the second game, Annalise, we had 5 hits just from the freshmen. So we're trying to like push that on them, like, hey, y'all just hit off one of the best pitchers like in NAI. Like if y'all can do that, if we just play as a team and play together, like you can do this for anybody. It doesn't matter who the team is. So we're just trying to like build up the courage for this young team and just show them that like, hey, we're still in the fight and we still can make it, even if we can make it to the national tournament or even go to the World Series just this year. So it's going to depend on us and just like leading the freshmen and the younger class up to that point.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head right there with the freshmen being able to step up. Huge part of this team this year is what y'all are getting from y'all's freshman class. Because frankly, there were a lot of question marks with who all was leaving, McCall leaving, Haley leaving, but players have stepped up in big ways. Sarah, could you talk about some of the freshmen that you've been impressed with as far as stepping up in big roles this year?
I mean, I definitely have to say Emma has really stepped up at shortstop. She's made a lot of amazing plays, kept balls from going into the outfield when they couldn't be let into the outfield.
Right.
Same thing with Mackenzie Sutherland. She's doing amazing at third. I mean, even Jules bats in center field. She's just all the freshmen that have been out on the field have been doing their part and being like doing an amazing job.
No, that's awesome to hear. And I'm curious hearing that you guys are pretty much split down the middle. There's got to be a story in there. There's got to be something funny. There's got to be a situation that happened. Like, do you guys have something that you could share on the pod between the upperclassmen and the freshmen on how interesting the season has been now that you guys are split down the middle?
Yes, so when we first started off, we knew that we were actually split down the middle. So what we did was we had a big sister and a little sister. So we all just kind of like got together. But this year's team has literally truly been like just a family environment. Like there's just like we all connect. And it's hard to say that with all girls. Like it's like usually there's some drama in there, but this year just has been like honestly the best team and just the best environment. Everybody supports everybody. And it's just been one of those that's like it's a fun, but we're also very competitive. So we all just get along so well and hype each other up and are proud and happy for each and every one of like the players. So it's just a really good environment.
No, that's awesome to hear. And going back to this weekend, I think it's the biggest series of the season up to this point. That title could change in a week. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I think it's gonna be a trilogy that movies are gonna be jealous of. Like what we're about to see this weekend is gonna be so much fun. So Sarah, I'm curious what the focus on the group is overall coming into this weekend at home against this receiving votes fire team.
I think the main thing is to make sure that everyone keeps a cool head, trying not to let the other team get into each other's heads with either their pitching, their cheers, all that kind of stuff. As long as we stay cool and collected, I think it'll be a really good series.
Well, it's a good thing y'all got to come down to Weber before that, get a little preparation. I gotta say, one of the celebrations we did may have been one of the funnier ones I think I've seen on a softball field. Shout out Goose taping the bats together and doing the bench press. When y'all saw that, what was that, what were y'all thinking in the dugout? Some I don't know if it's the best thing that we do at Weber, but when there's a pitching change, softball team will take some bats and like work out with them, I guess, pretty much. What was kind of the thoughts when that Bryce, I think you were the one coming in that game 3, right?
Oh. I think we had Liz going in.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
But I was just like, I have faith in my team, so y'all do whatever y'all want to do, but we got this. So
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of confused when it first happened. I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah, I was too. I was like, this is like the taped up part was something new. But I do want to talk about my man real quick. Truly one of my favorite coaches in NAIA softball, Mike Minnick. He is a character with that without a doubt. So I got to ask you to favorite Mike Minnick story.
Oh gosh. Okay, so freshman year, we're going to play USCB.
Yep, that's the one I was thinking.
And we get this really bad call that we believe is supposed to be the girl's out. I believe she bunts and we throw her out and she's out like by a step, but he calls her safe. And he gets so mad, like it's just in a really heated moment between us and USCB. And he gets so angry, he kicks the bucket and stuff just flies everywhere. And the umpire, it looks at him and is like, that's your warning. And he's like, I fell off the bucket. And we're like, okay,
Sure,
coach. So
coach.
that has been our thing. We're like, make sure you don't kick the bucket or fall off of it this time. But we just joke about that all the time with him.
We do.
He is one of my favorites, a competitor in every sense of the imagination. And he's one of those guys that on the field and off the field, just I feel like not different, but he's a competitor. He's a competitor. He gets fired up. Everybody knows Mike Minnick. He gets a little rowdy out there every now and then, but off the field, truly one of the nicest, most genuine, awesome guys. And I mean, y'all know. I mean, y'all played with him. I mean, y'all could say. I mean, good experience with Mike Minnick as y'all's college softball coach.
Oh yeah, I mean, just on and off the field, like you said. I mean, he's always putting us. He's like, "All right, y'all can do this. Like, I believe in you." But he's not just crediting like the other teams as well. He's like, "They're a really good team. Like, you're gonna have to come and play." So he knows his stuff, and like he tries to like put it on us, and he's very competitive. He's like, some points he's like, "Okay, like I know you can do this, but you gotta believe in yourself and do it." And he gets fired up, but we love him anyway for it. So.
No, that's so much. That's such a good story and just a good relationship you guys have with your coach, and we always love hearing that here on Suncast. And I'm assuming that the fired up has been leading up to this weekend. I think a big part that people might overlook, the last time you guys had this series was in Lakeland. The last time you had the series for it. What do you think is going to be the better part or the advantage of you guys now being at home and hosting this series for you, Sarah?
I mean, either way, it's going to be a tough series. I think last year it was a little more difficult being an away game. Away games are always a lot harder than home games. So, but I do have the utmost confidence in my team that this series is going to be really good, and I think we can do it.
Now, Bryce, to y'all credit, y'all did get the get back. Y'all got the revenge in the tournament. And with that being said, now you have to expect the Fire coming in a little extra motivated. What are you expecting from this team, especially that first game? You know, again, we understand how important this series is going to be. We understand that both teams have it's been a back and forth history overall. So what do you expect from Southeastern, especially in that first game?
Yeah, I expect a lot of ups and downs from both teams. I feel like there's going to be really good moments for Southeastern, and I feel like there's going to be really good moments for us. And especially at home, I feel like a lot of our girls play just more relaxed. We just know the field, and especially for our freshmen, it's been really hard on the road and letting them know the travel situation. So just like letting them know, like, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs because these are some really big games this weekend. So I feel like we're just all going to come together, especially with us playing Gwinnett yesterday, just giving us the confidence and stuff that we need to go into this series this weekend.
I think it was a good move having Gwinnett kind of as a midweek game before Southeastern, kind of similar styles, because if you're playing the Southeastern Fire, Kayla Watkins' team, they're going to bunt a lot at the top of the lineup. They're going to have a ton of speed. Sarah, talk a little bit about playing Southeastern and just kind of the pressure. I mean, Bryce, you too, but I want to hear from Sarah as an infielder, how playing a team like Southeastern that steals bases better than anybody in NAI softball, puts the ball in play, a lot of good contact in there. Just talk about the stress that they put on an infield.
I mean, I try not to stress too much while I'm in the infield. As long as I do my job, to help out my pitcher, that's all I really worry about. But with these freshmen in the infield, I think the main thing is that you just got to make sure that they don't lose their cool and shake the play off. If you make an error, move on. It's going to be fine. That's the main thing I think that needs to happen. But as long as you don't stress about it, I think everything's going to be fine.
Love it. Love it.
Now, Bryce, I know we still technically have about 3 weeks or so, but it's human nature for us athletes to look past, look a little ahead. And I know the Sun Conference tournament right around the corner. We've been all waiting the whole year for this. And I'm curious, how different do you think that gauntlet that is the Sun is going to be this year compared to your guys' championship run last year?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely going to be a lot harder because there's a lot of people or teams that have like really stepped up this year that like usually are not in the tournament or that usually gets beat by most teams. And just like taking Florida Memorial, for example, like they have really stepped up and got some players. So I feel like it's going to be a lot more competitive like games this year in the conference tournament for sure. So I believe anything can happen. So I feel like it's very important, especially to go ahead and just have your right mindset whenever you go to the tournament. Like anything can happen, ups and downs, but we got to fight our way through it, whatever the game and whatever the situation is. So I'm excited.
You look at last year, there could be a team that kind of pops up like Warner was a 6 seed last year, won 3 games in the 2 games. They lost 1-0 to y'all and 1-0 to Southeastern. So never know. I mean, looking at a team like Florida Memorial that's getting hot at the end, Ave Maria looking good. I mean, of course, when you talk about the Sun Conference this year, it's been Southeastern, St. Thomas, Coastal, and Kaiser, who's kind of faded off a little bit here, but certainly still could do something. Warner could get in and make something shake as well, knowing Madeline Morton can go out there and pitch as much as Megan Smith needs her to. But what I have one last question for both of y'all. Y'all both had phenomenal careers, done a lot for Coastal Georgia softball, Coastal Georgia athletics, and Sun Conference, as well as NAI softball just in general. What do you hope your legacies in Brunswick will be when y'all hang up the cleats at the end of the year?
You want to go first, or me? I would just say, like, just know that anything's possible, especially here at Coastal. Like, yeah, it's a small school, but like you're bound to do good things even at an NAI school. Like, you don't have to go somewhere big to be like have your name out there or anything. Like, I don't know. It's just like been really fun. And when you love the team and the environment and the coaches and the school, it just makes a really big difference in your career. And I definitely feel like that's what's helped me so far is just being happy where I'm at. So
I completely agree with that. I mean, looking at the other schools that I had gotten offers from the Sun Conference, looking back, I'm very happy that I chose to come here instead of there.
Yeah, I mean, Coastal's had a great run with y'all at the head of it the last couple of years. And Bryce, something you kind of hit the nail on the head on is the student athlete experience. I think that's a big thing that the NAI offers is a very positive. I mean, being a guy, as a lot of people know, NCAA first, said D2, did that, had my own experience, but NAI, I've loved my time in the NAI. Obviously, big NAI softball guy, big Weber guy. I've had a lot of fun being a part of the NAI community. And like you said, I think Coastal Georgia, yes, 100% offers this, but there's a lot of schools that in the NAI that offer that really positive NAI student athlete experience. I mean, Manny, you could talk about it too. I mean, just being a student athlete at St. Thomas.
No, absolutely, and I'm so happy to hear you guys. Your experience was just as well as mine, and it goes to just the fact of there's a college for everybody out there. It's just a matter of finding the right fit. It might take a few tries, but you're gonna find it, and you're gonna really enjoy it. My last question is again for the both of you guys, and we'll wrap it up, kind of talking about the weekend and what it could mean. I firmly believe you guys have the toughest remaining schedule in the conference. There's no doubt about it. You got Southeastern, and then you're going on the road against St. Thomas. What do you guys think is going to allow, or how do you guys think this will prepare you guys for that tournament push in the 3 weeks time, going up against right now the number 1 in the conference, and then or number 3 in the conference this weekend, and the number 1 possibly in the following weekend?
Yeah, so our best outcome or what we are hoping for is being first or second seed, especially going into the tournament. However, we do know that these next two are going to be very difficult for us to either sweep the series or just get 2 out of 3. We know that it's going to be difficult, but just being able to know that anything can happen. And just talking about last year, we go over to Southeastern and we lose 2, but we double dip them in the tournament. So I just feel like anything can happen, and just us being positive without the whole outcome, just knowing that, okay, these honestly don't matter. They matter for the end standings, but they don't, because anything can happen in the tournament as well.
Yeah, I do think it will definitely help prepare the freshmen for just how competitive this tournament will be, especially with these 2 teams.
I think
I also want to say real quick, double dip. We're throwing that into the quotes. That's gonna be thrown in.
Double dip.
We're
That
using
was a
that one
good
for
one.
sure. That was a good one. That was a good one.
I think something y'all really hit on these freshmen this weekend against Southeastern, next weekend against St. Thomas in that conference tournament. It kind of loops back what we were just talking about. And then plus, I mean, obviously just playing Georgia with Ned and getting those hits on Annalise. I mean, what a great way, what a great stretch to prepare for an opening round. I mean, they're going to be seasoned, ready to go, hopefully firing all cylinders. And who knows? I wouldn't bet against the Mariners making that cross Georgia trip to just drive pretty much right through Macon, right onto Columbus. I would certainly hope that'd be the case. Get a Sun Conference team in Columbus when nobody thinks there's going to be a Sun Conference team there. So that would I want to say again, fired up. Don't know if that's the right thing y'all want to hear right now, but it would certainly be awesome. But again, Sarah, Bryce, thank you so much for coming on. Great interview. Anything else y'all want to add? Anything else? Any other comments, concerns? Anything else?
Thank y'all for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
And go Mariners.
Of course, go Mariners. Well, thank y'all for listening. We're actually going to kick it over. Like I said, beginning of the episode, 2 interviews here. Sarah and Bryce, again, thank you now, who they're going to be going up against, trying to get some hits against here. I guess today, as this is dropping Friday morning, Miss Autumn Hunter from the Southeastern Fire. Okay, we welcome on a very special guest, senior pitcher for the Southeastern Fire, Miss Autumn Hunter. Autumn, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Really looking forward to this. You've had a great career there in Lakeland. Obviously, a big member of the Fire team, going to the World Series, Sun Conference, a lot of Pitcher of the Week awards in the Sun Conference since you started in 2021. But let's get started. This year, Sun regular season, it's been one of the more fun regular seasons coming down the stretch over the last few years. Got y'all, St. Thomas, and Coastal Georgia, all going for it, looking to win the regular season. Obviously, we know it's kind of just proceeding, but still, we want to win the regular season. Nice little thing to have. But with the Sun Conference regular season coming down to the wire, just talk to us about how it's been competing in the Sun this year.
It's been really don't want to say like up in the air, but it's almost like a lot of teams are either like showing up to play or not showing up to play. It's been very unpredictable. You know,
Yeah.
you never know what team you're going to get on any day. Even like Weber took like all of their wins are from teams that are like in the top of the conference right now, and you know, even Florida Memorial, all of them. It's been really like a mix up of sorts.
Yeah, it's been a confusing year in Babson Park. That's for sure. Won one against Coastal, won one against y'all. It's like, okay. But
They played great against us this weekend, so it was like it's like wow, like this team, they're good.
well, there, you know, a few players, they remember some tough losses. Easy to get fired up against Southeastern for Weber softballs. I'll say that. But hey, this weekend, another big series for y'all up in Brunswick against Coastal Georgia. Just talk a little bit about that Mariner team. They won the regular season and the conference title last year. You know, obviously this year a little bit different. They don't have Haley Dickerson, but they've had some other pitchers, a freshman, another senior, and Liz step up. Riley stepped up in the circle for them. Just talk to us a little bit about Coastal Georgia and competing against them. What makes them a tough team, and what are the keys for Southeastern to go up there and take a couple in Georgia this weekend?
For us, we're definitely going to have to stay in our A game with pitching, hitting, fielding, like we've been doing and stuff. But Coastal Georgia has always been a team that has had a lot of tools in their belt, is a very well coached team. We definitely have a chip on our shoulder from last year. We really want to win that conference title. But they've always pitched it really well. I know that they have another pitcher that we haven't seen yet, a freshman, and really we're just going to have to be in our A game. We know that.
Yeah, it's going to be phenomenal. Some great Sun Conference softball there, number 22. I think y'all are like second or third in receiving votes. Been floating around that top 25 range. And hey, I mean, shout out St. Thomas, by the way, getting in their top 20. Their number 19 has been a lot of fun in the conference this year. But let's talk a little bit about you. Help me if I say this wrong. Winnesone or Winneconne? Okay.
Yes.
So that's where you're originally from, Winneconne, Wisconsin. Obviously, better weather being, I got to assume that's a part of why you're in Lakeland. But talk to us about your recruiting journey and how you ended up at Southeastern.
So I always knew that I wanted to play softball down south. I love the weather. I knew it was going to be way too cold in spring season up in Wisconsin or anywhere around there. So I took a big recruiting trip down south. I started off at in Clearwater at a like tournament thing, and then ended up visiting, I think, 14 colleges in 14 days. Basically drove around, met with coaches, and found SEU, and I loved SEU. I got to meet with Coach Watkins. She actually came to watch me. She was in the middle of moving in, but she came to watch me at the tournament that I was at in Clearwater. Ended up only seeing me throw to one batter, which I walked in 4 pitches. I don't know why. It was like the worst probably at bat that she could have ever seen. But I ended up then coming to SU and like meeting with her, and she had me come back down a couple months later, and I threw to her. And it was really, I mean, I think she really took a chance on me, given that was like the only time that she had seen me throw live. But I'm really glad that she did, because I can't imagine having gone anywhere else. So.
Well, it certainly worked out for you. You came in 2021 as a freshman. Then next year, obviously a phenomenal year, 2023 as well. And now this year, your senior year, you've had some great moments since arriving in Lakeland, but a couple that definitely have to stand out. Starting in 2 World Series wins for the Southeastern Fire. What was it like pitching on the biggest stage of NAIA softball a couple of years ago?
So it was very interesting because the first game was against the Weber, which we had played probably 6 times in that past like 2-3 weeks between conference tournament. We had played them. They were our last series of conference play. Yeah. So it was very familiar, but at the same time, just completely different. It was a lot more stress, you know, even knowing that, okay, they've seen me probably 3-4 games in the past, you know, so many weeks. And so it was very much trying to like double down and know like, okay, like these games matter just a little bit more than games that we had played in the past. And just knowing that like the team had my back, and, you know, our hitters had our back, and really helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean that was. I mean, obviously, for us, Weber Southeastern, it was a very fun game. Obviously, a lot of fun for the Sun Conference to be able to display what we had in that year. Very special year in the conference in 2022. Obviously, with y'all going to the semifinals, Weber being a team, and at final site in Columbus, Coastal Georgia, having a great year that year, and all coming together. And Haley Harrell sending that one over the field to the left. I still think about that one every now and then. I was actually talking with good friend Mimi Maggard, our former shortstop. What we'll talk about every now and then is like, gosh, yeah, the hit by pitches and the walks in the top of the seventh, they were cool to tie it up, but at that bottom of the seventh, shout out, yeah, phenomenal. But hey, in both of those games, just looking at your body of work against Weber and a very, very good program in Oregon Tech, 9 combined innings, a 2-run ball, and then in both games, your partner in crime the last few years in Lakeland, Claire Seconder, came out of the bullpen at the time, a freshman, to secure 2 wins. Please talk about the relationship you two have had and what's made Autumn Hunter and Claire Seconder one of the more respected pitching duos the last 3 years in NAI softball.
She's so great. She has one of the like toughest mentalities that I've like ever seen. I mean, any freshman I feel like would just be completely shaken up out there, and she went out there with just this bulldog mindset of like, I'm gonna win, like I'm not gonna let anyone stop me. She's just incredible. She's worked so hard like over the past 3 years, over her whole career. I mean, you always see like, okay, like freshman year, like you have a really good year, and then it's like, oh, is she going to continue? And she just continued to work hard and just really like be so strong in that and kill it. So, I love pitching with her because I'll come out like off the mound, or she'll come off the mound, and we'll be like talking about the pitches, or talking about what we see in batters, and really just being each other's like biggest hype men. Like we'll be very honest with each other and say, hey, like I'm not feeling so confident here, or not being so confident there, whether it's in the bullpen before games or, in the dugout, and we'll help, bring each other back up to that level that we need to be at to perform. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, I've been a great duo to watch. And now this year, there's a new element, new arm added in with a freshman, Eden Playa, having a phenomenal freshman year. What does she bring to the staff? And now for you as a senior, looking back, as we've mentioned, a freshman in 2021, started that season, had good success. What's some advice you've passed along to Eden?
I've talked to Eden a lot about basically making sure that like even though she's a freshman, that she has just as much of a voice as any of the rest of us. Telling her like, hey, like if you are like mad that the team's not hitting, you go ahead and say that. Like just because you're a freshman does not mean that you can't have a leadership role on this team. I also think that like I've talked to her a lot about like leading by example and stuff like that. So she's really come out of, I don't want to say left field, but I mean, she came in here and I was like, wow, like this girl is good, and she's continued to prove to us every day that like, she's here to work hard, has an incredible mindset as well. Like she's so very mentally tough, and has continued to prove that over the last few series. Yeah, she's going to be incredible. Like she is incredible already, but I think that she's someone that will have very like sustained success the next few years.
Yeah, we saw last year just kind of in the overall NAI softball world, there were a couple freshmen more out in the Heart of America conference, like Kara Baker, Jordan Ball for Central Methodist, and Baker that kind of stepped up as freshmen, had crazy years, and now Eden this year. I want to say maybe flown a little bit more under the radar, and maybe because you and Claire pretty well known names across the NAI softball world, but I think it's definitely been a big advantage for Coach Watkins and for Southeastern this year with Eden, because look, you and Claire, phenomenal pitchers, but the more you play, the more you go up against teams, and y'all traveled opening rounds, the World Series, teams have seen you, there's scouting reports, and then there's this funky freshman lefty who, by the way, I've seen y'all a few games this year earlier in the preseason, and obviously on live streams, but against Weber, that was my first time seeing Eden pitch in person, and I was like, that's not a freshman. That's someone that's already kind of turned into a sophomore. But I think it's gonna be big. Obviously, you and Claire are going to be a big part of the success over the next couple of weeks. Finish up the regular season, and then in the conference tournament. Which, moving on to next question, one trophy you've not brought back to Lakeland is Sun Conference tournament. I know y'all want to finish off the regular season, stack up some wins, maybe win the regular season. But no matter how these next couple of weeks go as far as seeding, how important is it for you and the group to get back to Clearwater and leave with some hardware this go around?
It's so important. I mean, it's one of those things that we've worked for year and year or year after year. And I think this year we really have the tools to be able to actually secure that. I think too, for postseason rankings and this and that, like it would just be so nice to have that automatic bid in there. The last few years we've been lucky to, you know, not lucky, but we've been in that top 25 and we've automatically had a bid into the World's or the national tournament.
Yeah.
So this year I think showing that winning that we like deserve to be there, that we deserve to be in that top 25, along with the next couple of weeks, you know, winning these series, just showing that like, you know, we deserve to be up there. So
yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head. Of course, Sun Conference, less than 10 teams in the conference, only one automatic bid. And last year was Coastal Georgia winning the tournament. And then I was like, Southeastern's fine. They'll get the at large spot. And then there people like I wouldn't count on it like being for sure. I was like, what do you mean? And then I got on the Twitter space on an AISB and the selection show was coming. And I was like, where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they at? And then Ashland, Oregon popped out. I was like, that's a trip. That's going to be a trip. I got to ask you about that experience real quick. Just being out in Oregon, because I'm actually heading out there a couple weeks for Cascade tournament. Fired up for that. No pun intended, of course, but really excited to get out there. Talk to us about just that part of the country. Obviously, great softball in the Cascade, but going out there, I'm sure that was an experience being from Wisconsin and playing college ball down here in Florida.
oh yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous. It was really cool to have that experience with the team.
Yeah.
There was one day that we all got up on top of the vans that we had rented and just watched the sunset over all of the mountains. And it was just a really special memory. And really all of the memories that we made out there were, I mean, like once a lifetime. That's a place that like a lot of us might not ever really get back to just because it's so far away. But yeah, I wouldn't trade that. That was, you know, it sucked having to travel maybe, I don't know, 20 something hours straight to get there because we had so many, you know, connecting flights and that sort of thing. But at the same time, like, it's not something that I would trade for the world.
Hey, I know you never want to end the season without a trophy. I get it, but only one team gets to do that. It's got to be nice to be like, all right, that was a team that ultimately went and won the World Series. And I can tell you confidently, you kind of remember 2 years ago when Oklahoma City was just like, okay, nobody's going to beat them this week. It was like that week with Southern Oregon. Like Caleb Williams turned it on, and then they can hit the ball pretty well. I'm sure you know Southern Oregon can hit it pretty well. But Autumn, Kayla Watkins has done a great job building up the Fire softball program since taking over. Her first year was that COVID year, so kind of first full year with the program was your first year as a freshman there in 21. How would you describe the culture? You, and other members of the Fire softball program that are still there, or ones that have left, like Jamie Mead, Erica Stahl, Haley Harrell, that have helped build up the program. Just talk to us about the culture of it?
We're all very incredibly hard workers. That is one thing that like our team has always been very good about because honestly, like to be able to do what we do day in and day out, like you have to have a bulldog mindset. You have to be very like willing to give it your all. And I think that really has like prepared a lot of people like Erica Stahl, you know, Jamie Mead for the workforce. You know, they're killing it in PT school and Jamie out in Australia doing accounting and stuff. So they have really helped to shape us as well as Haley Harrell. And coach has really made us like a team that has a lot of integrity, hard work, dedication, and really just helped to shape us as like young women, honestly. It's been really cool to like see the team come together as people have like bought in over the years to this program.
So about to wrap up, right? About to graduate from Southeast. Where are you getting your degree in?
Biology with a concentration in medical science and then a minor in chemistry.
Gee, all right. So funny story. When I got out of high school, I was like, okay, I'll go play football. I think I'm gonna try to go like a biology, maybe marine biology route. Don't know why I thought going out to school in Missouri would have been the right place to go for marine biology. 18-year-old Reagan, maybe not the smartest decision, but my major was biology. I took bio 101 and chemistry 101 for a semester, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna go a different route. So credit to you, great stuff. What are your plans post softball to do?
So I'm gonna end up taking a gap year and then go to PA school.
Very nice. Practitioner's assistant, right?
Physician's assistant.
Physicians, close. SB, I'm a sports business management
Yeah.
major now. So I'm more on the Donnie Smith kind of route. But Autumn, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck rest of the season. Going to be a very, very exciting next couple of weeks. I'm sure very stressful for y'all, the coaches across the conference. But again, thank you so much. Anything else you want to add? Go ahead. If not, we'll go ahead and send the folks into the weekend.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Autumn Hunter, great interview there. Hey, great weekend of softball, great weekend of women's lacrosse. Got the tournament this weekend coming up. Beach volleyball nationals are coming up. Baseball regular season. Southeastern and Weber still looking pretty good. Number 1 and number 5 in the new ranking. So a lot of Sun Conference stuff. Check out. Y'all find it all Sun Digital Network. We cover it on Suncast social medias as well. So yeah, y'all have a great weekend.